What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fires. Now, with Fantastic Four officially headed into the second weekend for the box office, and in the wake of what we'll call last week's mini upfront with Marvel boss Kevin Feige at the Burbank HQ, what definitely felt like a consolation because of no Hall H, where he was candid about the current state of the MCU and future projects beyond Avengers Secret Wars, with many announcements and confirmations for what's to come. Well, we have a follow-up bombshell article from Variety breaking yesterday under the headline, Marvel's next moves, Black Panther 3 and a young X-Men cast to keep costs down, Blade and Deadpool 4 are lower priorities, where, according to some industry insiders that work with Marvel and represent clients inside the Marvel universe, there are still some details left to be revealed, including a mystery film in 2027 set between the two Avengers movies. We're going to break down every detail in this article, what they're saying. I'm also going to remind you to maybe put a small asterisk by it. We'll explain why. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. If you're into that kind of thing, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. We've got another PS5 giveaway tomorrow for the drop of Eyes of Wakanda. Again, all you got to do be a sub, leave a comment, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so a couple of things to keep in mind here before we get into this article, which broke yesterday again from Variety. These major editorials, in a lot of cases, work with some of these studios, so where it feels like industry insider editorials, sometimes they're basically just breaking the news from the studio, and that basically happens across the industry. But I will say about Variety, in several cases, they have not been afraid to basically go at Marvel, and at certain times. But I will say specifically about Variety, where this article is coming from, they've never been afraid to go at Marvel or say what they feel is true, rightly or wrongly. And in this case today, Marvel declined to comment for this article. It's coming from industry, and as it goes on to explain, it's coming from insiders close to Marvel Studios. They go on to say, as they go on to explain, it's coming from industry insiders who work with Marvel Studios. They go on to report, quote, "There's a reset of what a hit is. I don't see them consistently hitting 1 billion as before. Without China, with Disney Plus exposure post-COVID, without megastars," says one top agent who represents several clients in the Marvel universe. Okay, I'm not really sure that that's news, and maybe they need to be reminded that exactly a year ago, Deadpool and Wolverine did break $1 billion. I don't think anybody inside or outside of Marvel Studios expected any of the three films, Fantastic Four included, to do $1 billion. If I had to guess, I'm still assuming that Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars are going to hit $1 billion each. That being said, they continue saying the reality has changed the calculus at Marvel, led by Kevin Feige, when it comes to making a movie like X-Men. Thunderbolt's helmer Jack Schreier is set to direct the tentpole, with the studio fine-tuning Michael Leslie's script. Casting will begin soon, and the field is wide open. But Marvel has indicated to reps that it is looking for younger talent rather than A-listers to, quote, keep the costs down, says another agent. Feige also indicated he is looking to focus on the next-gen aspects of X-Men during a recent conversation with the press. Marvel is holding July 23rd, 2027 on the release calendar for an unnamed film, but sources say it won't be filled by X-Men. Marvel declined to comment for this story. Okay, wait a minute, back up. Now, as hard as it is for me to believe they're going to be able to fit another film in between Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, remember they did this with Captain Marvel and Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. I assume that they have their work cut out for them trying to tie together whatever loose ends exist now, bring different parts of the multiverse together, and set up Doctor Doom for Avengers Secret Wars. It is so hard for me to comprehend them putting a film in between Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, unless it was a prequel of some kind, like say they just did with Captain Marvel between the Infinity War and Avengers Endgame conclusion. However, with the multiverse, we're also presented with this idea that if they wanted to put it somewhere else like they just did with the Fantastic Four, that might make it easier. And it might be that somewhere else is exactly where that film is set, as industry insiders were talking about this back in January, and some of those brand new Twitter scoopsters were the first to say, we're going to get Doctor Strange 3 in between Avengers Secret Wars and Avengers Doomsday. And we know right now, at least the last time we saw Doctor Strange, he straight pieced out with Clea through a hole in time space to the Dark Dimension. So being somewhere else is what might be the key for Doctor Strange 3 being able to be between Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, is we might be able to see what it looks like as Doom is defeating the Avengers and the X-Men, creating Battle World from his point of view, and how his character may enter the fray into Secret Wars. Still, it seems super ambitious considering what we were just talking about, why Spider-Man is set a year before Avengers Doomsday. They haven't finished the Doomsday script, so I can't imagine I'm working on your own script and constantly having to wait for emails and updates for how Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars may be changed, and how you might have to end a film, say, that's in the middle of the two. Seems like not only a huge ask, but just like leaving room for error because of how those things will be put together. Yeah, plot hole might sneak in because no one has a chance to catch it in editing. Still, what I will say is, outside of the industry insider buzz, we haven't heard anything officially about a Doctor Strange 3 coming together, so it'll be interesting to see if that can continue to fly under the radar without another major Hollywood trade picking it up. Speaking of which, incidentally, industry insider Daniel RPK, and literally just days ago, said that they're moving forward with filming on Blade in 2026, which, if true, would put it on at least a timetable to be released in 2027 and would give Mahershala Ali an on-ramp to be a part of Avengers Secret Wars, since he's been sitting around since 2019 when members of the Fantastic Four didn't get cast until a couple of years ago, and they've had their own movie. But the article goes on to weigh in on that. There won't be much to analyze for next year. The next Marvel movie to hit theaters is Spider-Man Brand New Day on July 31st, followed by Doomsday in December and Avengers Secret Wars in December 2027. Amid an industry-wide pullback on superheroes, Marvel Brain Trust is feeling no sense of urgency on the long-gestating Blade reboot, or even a new Deadpool outing, sources say. However, ideas are percolating on Ryan Coogler's helmed Black Panther 3, creating excitement internally. Yeah, of course they're excited internally. They're in Ryan Coogler's hands, who seems to not be able to miss, and they've got Denzel Washington. Still, they don't go on to indicate that basically any of those films are up for what could be this mystery 2027 film. I will say that I think it would be very wise for them not to have a movie in between Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, as not to leave it up to there being continuity issues as everything changes in flux while they're in production. And maybe they're just holding the date for the sake of it. Maybe they intend to move up Avengers Secret Wars, although that seems unlikely. Still, as we continue to speculate about what that mystery movie could be and wait for sort of an official announcement, if you got to pick which movie comes in between Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, maybe not the one you want to see the most, but the one that makes the most sense for the story, what do you think it is? Let me know down in the comments quickly. We are giving away another PS5 for Eyes of Wakanda tomorrow when it drops. All you got to do to be entered to win, and all the same rules will always apply, hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber. Then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos in this same segment here, so please be safe and vigilant on YouTube. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me in a couple of places: Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes under the name AllFires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.